Hello, a wonderful day to all of you. Welcome to the Institute of Global Professionals. Thank you for joining us for another live session of free international webinar here in IGP. My lovely audience, I am Marbeth from the Philippines and I am honored to be your host for today. I hope that everyone will stay with us until the end of the program because we have a lot of things in store for you today. Here in IGP webinars, you do not just listen to our speakers, but we encourage your participation through our quiz competition and also in our Q&A part. In our quiz competition, the top 10 participants will receive their quiz completion certificate. That is right after the event. Then it will be followed by our Q&A part, where everyone will have the opportunity to interact with our speakers by sending in your questions in the comment box. In the latter part of the program, we will give you the certification code and the certification process on how you can generate or auto-download your e-certificate. With this, everyone is encouraged to stay with us until the end of the program because a lot of exciting things awaits us today. For I am sure all of us will have many e-takeaways and payoffs from this webinar. I'm proud to tell you that every day, many new participants are joining with us. So let me give you a little background about IGP. The Institute of Global Professionals is an educational institution which provides social work. We believe that it is not effective to increase one's skills by just acquiring formal education. So we provide training and consultation to generate a proficient generation through webinars, trainings, offline and online courses with the best speakers and highly trained coaches from around the globe to cater you with the best learning platform. I am proud to inform you that IGP is an ISO certified training and education institute. We are internationally recognized and globally accredited. IGP is your trusted platform to learn new things from the global leading leaders. We are the leading online skill development institution with thousands of learners worldwide. Our mission is to empower and enhance their skills through webinars. We are committed to serve. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to the Institute of Global Professionals Free International Webinar. Once again, I am Marbeth, a core volunteer of IGP from Philippines. I'm so privileged to host today's webinar. With this, I would like to say, let's watch together and learn together. We believe that the power is gained by sharing knowledge and not by hoarding it. Do you know? Did you know that as of yesterday, we have already successfully completed 245 webinars in various topics of your interest? All of these are available on our website, that is www.eduigp.com. Feel free to access them anytime. We expect that all of you are getting a little bit benefited both in your personal and professional life with these webinars. We wish that you remain with us in this long journey. From time to time, you may like, share, tag, comment, and mention your friends in the comment box. Your attachments encourage us to do better and give our best service. Without further ado, let's start our program with the IGP mantra, Feed Your Skills, Innovate, Inspire, Impact. For today, we are presenting webinar number 246 on Educational Action Research with only one brilliant speaker from the Philippines. Our speaker for today is a licensed professional teacher, a person whose passion is about the topic that he is going to discuss to us today, that is action research. I would like to invite on screen our speaker for today, Sir Ricky Montano. Hello, sir.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening. And
How are
it's my
you?
pleasure to be here. I'm okay. I'm doing great.
Yes. Before you go on with your presentation, would you like to share something about yourself first?
Okay. Thank you, Mom. But before anything else, before I share something about myself, let me greet everyone here, especially to the staff and to the managing system of IGP. Good evening from here, from Philippines. Okay, and also um, I am a teacher by profession. Actually, I just graduated my master's degree last month. Master of Education Management, major in Educational Leadership in the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. And also, I am not considering myself as an expert with this thing that we will be learning soon, because I gathered all my templates and all my presentations based on my different experiences in research. But you are also correct of saying, Mambet, that I am a research enthusiast because I really love research. I really love to conduct research, to have different kinds of to come up with different kinds of innovations. All right. And by that, I am an English teacher, of course, in additionals integrated school. I just wanna flex my school, headed by our principal, Ma'am Gigi Bulyanday. Hi there, and also my fellow teachers. Okay, I am an English teacher, and also I have been an English school paper advisor for 3 years. And right now, I am the English school coordinator of our school, and also I am also the school research coordinator. And also, I have been working also as an part-time ESL teacher, of course, here in 512. Okay. And also, I am a research advocate. I am a mentor. I am an enthusiast. Mentor in a sense that, I have a group in Facebook, and I mentor a lot of teachers and educators about research. I talk about research, and, they are satisfied with my services that I offered. And then because, I help them a lot when it comes to research. Okay. And also, I am a writer in our division. And also, I have a certificate for TESOL and for TFL and TL, or Teaching English to Young Learners. What else? And also, I am a 2 years consecutive birth grantee, or the Basic Education Research Fund in the Department of Education. And also, I am a member of ADGIL Philippines. And I am also a member of Network of Professional Researchers and Educators. Maybe some of our viewers, Mambet, they know me already, because I used to talk about research in Network of Professional Research in NPRE and ADGIL. So maybe they are familiar with me. And also, I have published different books when it comes to action research and different research. So that in that whole journey of my research, I can say that I can share to you, and you are lucky for this evening, because I can share to you all my experiences, and I will be giving you tips on how to make an action research. So please stay tuned, and let's learn together, and let's be an action research enthusiast and action research advocate. Back to you,
Well,
Mambet.
well, that's awesome, Sir Ricky. Let's give another round of applause to Sir Ricky Montano. Well, you may start sharing your screen, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Let's see.
Right, ma'am. Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, it's visible, but okay, that's good. Take it
All right.
away, Sir Ricky.
Okay. Thank you, Ma'am Beth. Well, again, it's my pleasure to be here, to be your resource speaker. I would do my best to inspire the knowledge that I have when it comes to action research, and I will do my best to answer your queries about action research, because for I know, and for also, that if you are working here in the Philippines, especially if you are a teacher, and nowadays action research is very important, and it's a big part of being a teacher. Okay, so without further ado, let's start. So Okay, so before we start our topic for today, I would like you to reflect on this quotation, a very popular quotation. It says here that in learning, you will teach, and in teaching, you will learn. Okay, so what is the purpose of this quotation for um, our activity or our engagement for tonight? Well, simply because in this quotation we could easily see that learning and teaching are inseparable. Okay, they you cannot separate them. Okay, so whenever there is a learning, of course there is a teaching, and vice versa. Okay, so what I would like to point out is that as a teacher, as an educator, it is not just our mission to teach, okay, but we need also to learn from our fellows, from our fellow teachers, from our students, especially with the current situation. All right, so that goes along with the learning and teaching. So with that, I would like to prompt with you this famous quotation. Okay, so let's start. So of course, we will first differentiate, or we will first revisit the definition of action research based on the different perspective, should I say, or based on the different point of views of the different authors. Okay, so first, it says here that action research is simply a form of self-reflective inquiry undertaken by the participants in social situation in order to improve the rationality and justice of their own practices and the situations in which the practices are carried out. So this definition is based on Carr and Kim's 2014. Now, in this definition, it is very evident to say that an action research is a form of inquiry. How does it goes? Like whenever you have ideas, all right, whenever you encounter like problem or problems, especially as teachers, or if you are like um in a different profession, you can also apply action research to your field. Say, for example, you have that problem and you want to solve that problem, you want to offer a intervention in that problem, and you may do action research. You may start doing action research. And also, it is also highlighted here that to improve the rationality and justice of their own practices. Of course, we are doing action research for the improvement. Okay, we are conducting action research because we want to improve something. Okay, we want to. It could be like a, we want to improve something in the system. We want to contribute by making an action research, or it could be like we want to propose an intervention because we want to offer a solution to the problem. So that's also a start of making an action research. So see, action research could have different perspective. We will not just focus on the educator perspective, but different professions could do actually action research. Actually, I have a different clients like um there are firemen, and they also do action research because it's a form of inquiry, and this is the very basic foundation of a research. Okay, so of course, I have also included in my presentation the setup in the Department of Education. So because I just wanted to make my presentations. I just want to uh, to to be somewhat like localized my presentation, and in depth ed or Department of Education here in Philippines, we must follow the themes. in making action research. So this is based on the DepEd Order number, if you are familiar, DepEd Order number 39, series of 2016. So this is commonly known as the BESRA, or the Basic Education Research Agenda. Okay, so if you are to make an action research, you have to choose among these themes. So first, you have the teaching and learning. Well, of course, as a teacher, as I keep on mentioning here, as an educator, as a teacher, it is expected from us to make an action research. So we might do an action research, or we might conduct an action research based on the teaching and learning themes. And what are these? Now, actually, we have a lot of examples of action research that fall under this theme, which is the teaching and learning process. Because as a teacher, this is very common to us. Say, for example, a very common problem in the classroom. Say, for example, you could touch or you could conduct action research about the problems in reading, problems in literacy, problems in writing, and of course, problems about health, because health also can be a factor why our learners, why our students are not capable of learning well, because it could be it could be the results of many factors, like factors in health, factors in food, factors like environment. And you can play with them, you can play with the teaching and learning themes. But of course, the Department of Education also will not limit, will not limit our, should I say, our idea in making action research. So that is why they have provided different kinds of themes. Second is the child protection policy. Well, speaking of that, actually, here in the Philippines, we have that law about protection of the children, or welfare of the children. So that is commonly known as the child protection policy, or child protection law. Okay, so when making an action research about child protection policies, say, you must see to it that you are going to cover topics, certain topics of research that has something to do with the child protection policy. And what are these? Actually, in our school, we have like bullying. Okay, we also have it could be like what do you call this? Early early teen early pregnancy, those teenagers. Okay, you can also include here in the child protection policy. And of course, different abuses in school. Okay, because in our school also, we also have the child friendly school. So that is a program of the DepEd, which is anchored also in the child protection policy. And also, you could somewhat like explore with the inclusive education, because it has something to do also with the child protection policy. All right. So those that I am mentioning right now are some topics that you need to ponder. Okay, later. Okay, later when you realize that, oh, really, I need to do an action research. Okay, so those are the topic that you need to consider in doing action research under the teaching and learning theme, or it could be like child protection policy. Okay, the third theme is the human development resources. Well, of course, this is commonly applied in our division office, like more in managing people, or organizations like that. But if you wanted also to do this, then as a teacher, you might as well. Okay, so example of this is that the number of employment, promotions. You could have that, or you could have like the different learning action cells of the teacher. How does it affect their professional growth? So that is something to do also with the human resource development. Or you can explore more of this. And also, last, we have the governance. So the governments are different policies being implemented in school or in the division as well. So I think this is more common in the upper position in our division. Okay, so That's it. These are the things that we need to follow if we are working in in the Department of Education. But if you are here right now, if you are watching my presentation, but you are not a teacher or you are working, you are having another profession and you'd like to make an action research. Well, anyway, you can do it as well by following later the format that I will be discussing to you. Okay. All right. So we go back to the definition of action research based on the different perspective or point of view. So the first, what is an action research again? Now we have also like action research is a research that any of us can do on his or her own practice to improve. Well, as I have mentioned a while ago, you can make the very basic action research provided that you need to follow the format. Okay, because for the information of everyone, I have been a recipient. Okay, I have been a recipient of I have been into a birth grantee for 2 consecutive years, and I have been into training, and I have learned that when doing an action research, you don't need to have like a number of participants in action research. We call that participants and not respondents. Okay, we don't need an large number, because you can do as simple as one or case study in action research. Okay, and one more. Some educators are confused also. If I may add to this one, like some educators are confused when it comes to action research. And as I am studying, why there are educators, there are fellow educators that they are hesitant of doing action research. Well, the first reason is that they have that mentality that when it comes to action research, that is very difficult, because they are thinking of our postgraduate, like doing thesis at all, wherein action research is very different to thesis or to thesis. Okay, it is very different, because when you do an action research, that could be a very simple way. Okay, it is a form of it's narrative. Okay, it's a form of narrative that any of us can do. Okay, so if we want to offer a solution to a usual practice that everybody is doing, then we might as well do an action research. Okay, and don't you know that in making action research, we could encounter several advantages, which is later we will discuss. Okay, the next definition is that it can be conducted with the assistance or guidance of professional researchers in order to improve strategies, practices, and knowledge. Well, of course, okay, when I was like when I was a neophyte in doing action research, I could still remember that I have I mean, nobody like offered help to me. Okay, nobody offered help unless like I've done it all by myself. And what did I do is that I tried to have I try to surf the Google. I watch it over the YouTube, different YouTube channels on how to make an action research, and then also I try to read different articles of making action research. But it is I highly suggest with our beginners that you have to seek should I say a professional in doing action research, or a mentor like me. Okay, so you have to search. You have to seek an advice or a guidance for them, so that you will not be somewhat like, should I say, you will not be culture shocked about action research, because that is the main reason also as to why there are fewer number of educators who are venturing into action research, because they lack guidance from someone that who has the knowledge of doing action research. So for all the beginners here that that are planning to make an action research, I suggest to you this definition. You find somebody, okay, you find somebody who will guide you, or somebody who is knowledgeable about research, so that that someone, or so that he can guide you in doing action research, the step by step um, procedure in doing action research. In that way, you will not like felt you will not feel alone. Okay, you will not feel alone, and also you have that someone when you have questions about a particular or specific thing about action research. You have that someone who can ask. You can ask question. Okay, so in that way, you will be once. I mean, you will be um you will have that higher higher possibility of finishing or of conducting your research. Okay. Next is, it is a useful, or I mean, it is useful in solving immediate and specific problems, because in action research, of course, you you will find, or you will identify problems, okay, in action research. So you will identify problems, and after that, you are going, at the end of your study, you are going to offer in an intervention or a solution, because action research is a problem based. Hey, and then it is useful in solving classroom problems as well. So, what are the common classroom problems that we encountered as teachers? So, say for example, the misbehavior of our students. Um, you could have also the reading problems, and you can have the writing problems as well, and um, absenteeism. So you can make an action research out of that. Okay, provided that you need to specify what is the problem that you need to study. Okay. All right. So in this stage, I will be discussing to you what are the advantages of doing action research. Well, of course, we are doing action research. Not just we just did it and thanks to you, like that. So it's not like that. So in doing action research, as you all know, there are many advantages of of doing action research. First is that action research powers professional growth. So why power professionals growth? Because in doing action research, you will um you will be into experimentations. Okay, you will be into reading different articles. And when you read, okay, you are learning a lot. Okay. And when you do more experiment, you are exposing yourself to the evidence-based instruction. Okay. So that is why combining the learnings that you gained in doing action research, it could somewhat like boost your morale, your professionalism. Okay, that's the main reason. That's one advantage. Next is that action research makes change manageable. Why manageable? Because, say for example, um, you try to think of this situation. Like you've been teaching, say for example, you have been teaching 5 years in a grade 4 or grade 3 or in a particular grade level, and then um you used to you are exposed of this kind of problem, like poor reading, absenteeism, um let's focus on that: poor reading and absenteeism. And 5 years of staying in that grade level, and that problem keeps on repeating every year. Okay. So, what do you think is the best thing to do so that you can manage that problem? Okay. So, the best thing to do is to venture to make an action research. Once and for all, you try to identify the problem, and then you try to do an action research. And the next year or the next school year, when you receive your new students, mind me or mind you, that problem will now be manageable in your part because you know already what to do, and then you're going to apply the result of your study, the result of your action research. And that is the second advantage of doing action research. You will not keep on no you will not keep on repeating the problem, but then the problem becomes manageable in your part because you know how to handle it, you know how to deal with it because you did an action research, and you will now be implying an evidence-based instruction. Evidence-based because that is based on your study and not just based on your imagination and without any proof, should I say, or theories. That is proven. That is based on evidence, evidence, data, and facts. Okay. So the third is action research promotes collaboration. Why do you think action research promotes collaboration? Because one, especially the beginners, I I doubt. I am not saying that you cannot do it. Okay, but as a teacher, we need someone. We need fellow teachers. Okay, and that makes that that will start the collaboration part. Okay, because when you do an action research, you need everyone. Okay, you need the suggestions of your fellow teachers. It could be like fellow teachers in school or your fellow teachers in your grade level. Okay, because if you will be doing it alone, you will not be aware of the lapses. Okay, say for example, when it comes to the scope of your study, so in your part it could be like it's okay, but without thinking that you are um you are overriding. When you say overriding, like you're overriding the ethical issues of your research. So might as well you seek suggestions or ideas from your fellows, and that makes the action research a collaborative effort or promotes collaborations. Okay, and also you need to consider your participants also. That's why in that form, with your participation and you as an action researcher, it's a form of collaboration then. Okay, all right, so that's the third advantage. Next is the fourth advantage. All right, so action research loves being shared. Of course, you know, regardless of the result of your action research, if it's like significant or insignificant, you need to share that one because action research are meant to be shared. Okay, what is the advantage that you may get if you share your action research? Of course, other people or some others educators may like your action research, and that's the time that they are going to contact you if they can use the result of action research, and then include you in their references. And what a very nice sounds to hear. Somebody will say, "Sir, mom, can I use your action research?" And then no worry, but I will acknowledge you in my reference. Like, oh, it's such a very, very pleasant sound to hear. So that is an advantage when you have an action research. You're going to share it regardless of the of the result of your research. Okay? And the fifth advantage is that action research can power system change. Of course, because when you do an action research, you're not just doing it like for yourself or for your student. Okay? Sooner or later, there could be like who will um somebody who can observe your process, or somebody who can pick your intervention, and then sooner you realize that your action research I mean that your intervention, that the product that was a product of your action research was being utilized by other school, by other grade level, and it can empower change in the system without without convincing everyone. Okay, because the result of your research will speaks. Okay, the result speaks for itself. So no need for you to bargain the result of your research. So sooner or later, not like, say for example, you need to wait like 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years, and then you know uh, somebody will try to adopt the result or intervention out of your action research, and that can empower this system change. All right, so let's go deeper to the more I mean to the more practical way of doing action research. Of course, why are you doing action research? Advantage for sixth advantage is that for merits of promotions. Of course, we are doing it is not bad. Okay, it is not bad if we aimed for promotions, provided that we worked for it. Okay, we are not stepping somebody's we are not stepping somebody. Okay, so action research can promote, can be your golden ticket for your promotions. And what are the ways in which you can use your action research? First is through publication. When you have an action research, you have that perfect getaway to publish all your works, all your content of your research. All right, now I will give you an idea on how to publish. If you are familiar with the different publishing, virtual publishing, okay, so there are some public publishing company here online. You can but of course, I advise you also to please have that background check first before you go into deal, or before you deal with them. So publication, let's talk about publication. So there are some publications or publishing sites that they will ask for your full paper. That's one. So when I say full paper, like from the front page up to the last page, that's one. Okay, there are publishing sites also that they are only asking for your abstract. You can give your abstract, right? But there are publishing sites also that they are asking for your results. You can give your results, and there are publishing sites also that they are asking for the journal. Okay, and they have specific format to follow, or to be followed. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that one action research in just one action research, you can have a lot of publication, because you can publish like the abstract alone. You can publish the whole thing, the action research, or you can publish an article also with the results, discussing the result, or you can publish a journal out of your action research. See, and that thing, publication, has something to do with the promotions. It is one of the qualifications for you to be promoted if you are aiming for promotions. And who are not aiming for promotions, right? So we are aiming for promotions. Of course, we have we have different motivations, and I will leave it to that. We are all aiming for promotions. So by this time, we'll try to reflect and try to think twice, and based on the different things that I have mentioned a while ago. So I guess you have the idea now. All right, next advantage of having and action research. So you have also the authorship. And I think that was like 2 weeks ago when I 2 weeks ago when I am trying to collect all the all the needed documents for a specific vacant position. But then I've come across this one, the authorship. See, so if you have an action research, you have that edge. Okay, you have that edge to your fellow applicants or fellow teachers. So action research is a perfect ticket for your promotions or promotion, should I say. Next is innovations or project. Of course, when you do an action research out of the result, the intervention could be a product of action research, or you can make an innovation out of your intervention. You can make a project out of your intervention. So see, doing action research is quite enjoyable. And that is an adventure for you to venture. Okay, so that is why I am encouraging everyone to venture and actually search. Well, later I will flash my my profile. If you need an assistance, you can contact me through my Facebook account. Okay. All right. So what are the things maybe you have questions, okay? Maybe you need the question here is that you are very eager to make an action research, okay? But then you don't know how to start. That's not a problem, because in this slide I will help you decide on when and how to start your action research. I hope that this will enlighten you. Okay. First is that you need to consider your interest. Okay, so your interest, it could be like, if you are an educator, you need to consider your interest. Like if you are interested in doing reading remedial, okay, if you are interested in doing writing remedial, if you are interested in doing games, so you can consider that one. You just look for a problem for you to start your interest. Okay, and that is the second one, the problem. So problem, here you might ask me, sir, what if in my classroom I had in my class, okay, I have several problems, not just once, not just one, two, three, but a lot of problems. And that's good. That's very good. That's perfect. So now, especially that we are in the new norm of educations, we encounter a lot of problems, not just with our students, but the whole academy. Okay, we are currently in the stage of adjusting and coping with new mechanisms, and new system. So there could be like somewhat like problem that is very common in one group, and you can try to identify that problem. Okay, you can try to play with that problem first, right? Next is that program. You try to think of a program wherein you will not feel bored with that program, because you consider already your interest. So you try to connect that interest to your problem and to the program. Okay. Say for example, you are very good in inventing or in conceptualizing games. So why not try to integrate that into teaching? So you make use games that has something to do with the topic, okay, and also make it a program. So in that way, you are now trying to conceptualize what is the idea of your action research right now. And then also you need to consider also the respondents, of course. So say for example, you have 30 respondents, but your heart saying that, oh no, I love this 30 my students, but your brain says, I am very tired and I cannot accommodate them all. So try to pick, randomly select your respondents. Okay, see, your problem is starting to become more clear, specific, and achievable problem now. And of course, when you already identified the respondents of your study, now you try to think of the materials that you're going to use now. Okay, this is the very important because when you do an action research, you have that part wherein you're going to itemize all the materials and also all the cost, how much those materials cost you. So you're going to identify. And also you need to itemize the funds or budget the funds that you will need for the whole process of the action research. So these are the things that you might want to consider if you are still, if you are still in the midst of thinking whether to go or not to go with an action research. So I hope that this slides helped you to weigh in, all right, to weigh in whether you will continue to go or not to go. All right. Next is all right, so here are also like, since I have told you a while ago that I have been a birth recipient or grantee for 2 consecutive years, and also I have received a DepEd advocate pin last year. Okay, this was the advocate pin was given to selected researcher. So okay, so last week that was last month I think. Here is the new addition to the research category or themes. So of course we discussed already about the teaching and learning. So that's it. This is the sub theme. Okay, you may want to cross with these themes because we call this as the cross themes. Okay, we have discussed already about the child protection policy and also the HRD or the human resource development. But this one, number 4, is new, which is the DRRM, okay, which is stands for disaster risk reduction management in our school. I don't know if I said it right, but people in the DRRM can now make an action research based on their assignment. So that falls under DRRM. So what else? What are the specific? What are example topic? Say for example, you need to measure the awareness of the teacher and the students in your school when it comes to the different programs or projects of DRR. So you need to, of course, you will not just measure, but after your because if you will just measure, okay, if you will just measure their awareness, that is not an action research because there is no action. Okay, so of course, when you measure, try to at the end of your study, like try to offer an intervention for them. Okay. Next is the gender and development. Of course, the GAD, Gender and Development Program. So of course, please be careful also in doing action research because last time when I have attended at a orientation about about research in depth ed, it was found out that almost all of our books are gender biased. When you say gender biased, like they are not sensitive with the gender. Okay, so that is why it is very it was highlighted here about the gender and development. We need to inculcate into research to intensify the gender sensitivity among teachers and among faculty in our school. Okay, going back to the gender bias in our book, because there are specific topic or pictures in our book in the depth ed that that are not sensitive to the gender. So that is one of the reasons why we need to intensify through action research the gender and development. So what are examples or what are examples topic? So you may try to actually I am doing an action proposal, but then I was in the midst of of different deadlines in school. So I was not able to finish it. But I have the concepts of research, and I will tell it to you. Like, it's all about the gender, and it falls under gender and development program or agenda. So I am trying to to study about the level of teachers when it comes to gender instruction, gender sensitive instruction, virtual. Okay, say for example, um, whenever you call someone to participate, who do you call the most? Is it the boys or the girls? So because as a teacher, we out of our out of, like, we are not aware also that we are being gender biased. Like, we tend to call girls because they are more, we perceive that girls are more participative than boys. So in that way, we are being gender biased to them, to the boys, to us. Okay, because we are also smart. If girls are smart, then boys are smart too. So that's equality. Okay, all right. Okay, so okay, before we proceed with the sixth agenda, let me share to you also that as the world revolved. Okay, so some policies also um somewhat like revolves also. Some policies revolve, like, I mean evolve, like, um when we were young, we used to be like, our elders have taught us to be more as a boy. Okay, as a man, our elders taught us to, when a girl is, when you ride on a bus, and then a girl is standing, or a woman is standing, as a boy, it is always in our notion to offer a seat to that girl because it's a girl. But then, in a world wherein everyone is equal, we don't need to do that. Okay, we don't need to do that because why? Because whatever we men can do, the woman also can do it too, and that's equality. And that is not being unrespectful. Okay, that's one way of praising or expressing equality between man and woman. Okay, so much for that. Now, let's proceed to number six, which is inclusive education. So, here, as you can see, child protection policy is being separated with inclusive education. So, here, of course, we deal with the different special. I mean, students with the special needs. So I think, especially nowadays, I think I am trying to think, like, if in the normal, in the face to face setup, like, it's very somewhat like challenging for a teacher to handle them. Okay, how much more today that we are on the new normal? I mean, we are on the distance learning or modular learning. So how is it challenging both the teacher and the students with special needs? And this could be your first step in coming up with an action research when it has something to do with the inclusive education. Okay, so in this stage, I will be teaching you now the process or flow of action research. Okay, so I still have time. So, process or flow of action research. Of course, first, you need to identify problems. Okay, you need to identify the problems, and when you identify the problems, you connect it with your, just like what I have said, you identify the interest, and then you connect your interest to the problem, and then the problem connected to the programs and projects. So that's the first thing that you're going to do. Second is that think of possible interventions or strategies. So you have there the problem already, and you are trying to conceptualize the programs or the projects. Now you're try to think of intervention so that if the time comes that you already finished, you know what to do now. You know what interventions best for your study. Okay. Next, the third thing that you're going to do is to read related articles. Okay, you have to read related articles about your idea, about your concepts. And the fourth one is you formulate a title. And last, make an action research proposal. That's the time that you make an action research proposal. Now, when you make an action research proposal, it means to say that you have already conceptualized, you have already organized your problem, you have already target intervention to be used, and then you're going to propose it to the panel or to the research committee of your school. Okay, so going back with this five process of or flow of action research. So if you have observed, I have put number in the fourth place, the formulate or formulating a title. Why? Why do you think? Because to we used to situation we're in, we think of of a title first before anything else, right? So I will ask you a question again. Now, what happened when you think of the title first before this, before the other? What happened to you? Okay, exactly, right? So when you think of a title, you will end up like you will end up like it's very difficult. Like I'm very tired. I find it very lazy to do action research. It's not enjoyable. It's not. It's toxic. Why? Because you have started the wrong way, my dear audience. You have started the wrong way. Why? Because when you think of a title, of course, normal that you will think that it's difficult because you are trying to think of a title first. That's the wrong thing to do when doing action research. You need to identify first the problem. Okay. After that, you need to think of the programs or projects and possible interventions, and you read articles because the moment that you expound, the moment that you explore your concepts, that's the time that you will try to think and finalize your title. I tell you, try to do it and you'll find it very effective. Because some of the teachers that I have talked to, like when I convince them to make an action research, like the usual answer that they gave me is that it's very difficult because I don't know what's my title. I don't know what's the title. Okay. In the title alone, they were already trapped. So they will not think of of exploring or expounding their concept because they focus on the title itself. Okay, which is very wrong. Okay, you need to broaden your concepts. You need to read more articles because through reading you will encounter different ideas, you will encounter different inputs, and that's the time that you're trying to finalize or finalizing your title. So with that, you will be able to make a title. So when you have the title already, you build already your paper, your proposal. Okay, you try to do it because that is based on my experience and I find it very effective. Okay, next. So after that, when you have the proposal ready, proposal paper, the next thing that you are going to do now is to seek approval from a school action research committee. However, I tell you, this is case to case basis. So there are some schools, small school, that they don't have research committee. So who will approve their action research? Of course, it's the principal. Okay, it's your principal, school head. So the school head now will submit to the division office a copy of the proposal, and you're going to wait for the approval. I don't know if you are familiar with the endorsement. Okay, these are the process. Okay, once approved, you're going to implement immediately the study. So that's the time for you to implement the study. And next is that you are going now to gather data and come up with complete action research. Oh, maybe you're trying to ask, oh, action research proposal is different from the actual research. Exactly, you are correct. So when you are doing an action research, it is important that you follow the whole process, because during the promotion, when if you're going to use your action research, it will not be approved without any proposal stating there that your study or your action research was approved and that you have the right to conduct the study. So that's very important that you have the action research proposal first, have it approved, and then do the whole thing. Okay, so that's it. I hope that you know the process and the flow. Those are like clear to you. So we move on to the next slide, which is all about model of action research. So I have encountered like different kinds of model, to tell you honestly, different kinds of model, but then just like what I have said when I started my presentation this evening, like I'm going to talk to you about the experiences that I have experienced, which I found it very effective, and I'm very happy that you know I will be sharing it to you now. So this model, I find it very effective because you will be thinking of only four variables or four stages. So you have the planning, you have the acting, you have the developing, and reflecting. Okay, what is planning? Of course, planning is the first stage. So in planning, you need to identify and limit the problem. What's the importance? What is the importance of identifying and limiting the problem? Of course, if you will not identify the problem, then how are you going to start your research, action research? It's very important to identify. But it's not just that we need to identify, we need to limit the problem, especially if we are beginners. Okay, we are it's our first time. When I say it's our first time to conduct a research. Okay, so for us, my advice, okay, my advice to the first to the first timers, or I call them as neophyte in action research. Of course I have encountered a lot of them, like you know they contact me for my services in action research. So I used to advise them that you limit the problem. Okay, what's the importance of limiting the problem? Of course, first is that maybe you are a first timer. Then when you limit your problem, it's a big help when it comes to the time management of the implementation of your research. That's one. And also, when you limit your problem, you will not be confused. Your objective, or yes, your objective would be like more achievable if you are a first timer, and then you limit your problem. Say say for example, hey, I will give you a situation. In a one class or in a one situation, okay, there are you have five students, say for example. You have five students. I mean 10. Let's make it 10. You have 10 students. So three of them, okay, three of them used to absent to do I mean three of them used to it's not absent. Used to I mean three of them do not attend to your class like every day, like once in a month. Okay, and then the rest of them seven. I mean 10. So three. So you have seven. So seven of your the rest of your students cannot read. Okay, so you will not try to focus your problem to those seven. Okay, and let the three absentees. Okay, so focus on the three. I mean seven students who cannot read. So on that seven students, if you can handle them, all of them seven, then good. But then if you because when you try to identify the reading difficulties of your students, you're going to touch different factors on that. So you're going to identify who is or who are the word reader, the letter reader, right? Because you're going to. But if you cannot handle them, the seven of them, now you try to limit again the problem. You find the common problem of them all. Say for example, most of them cannot read totally. So you focus on the majority problem. And that's how you limit the problem. Okay. Next is gathering informations recognized. So informations like the data, you need to plan ahead of time on how are you going to gather them, the informations of your respondents. Next is the acting stage, the stage two. So acting stage is the implementing the plan and collecting the data. So in this stage, you are now starting to implement the study, okay? And then you're now starting to collect and collate the data that you have administered based on your study or action research. So the stage four is the reflecting stage. So what will happen in the reflecting stage? So sharing and communicating the results. That is why a while ago I had mentioned that action research are meant to be shared. Okay, because there are stages in the action research wherein you're going to communicate the results among your peers and your fellow teachers. Okay, and also out of the result, you need to reflect on the process. Okay, so what happened? You need to itemize them. You need to make a reflections well on the discussion basis. Okay, okay. Okay, I still have time. So stage four is the developing stage. So the developing stage is the stage wherein it is developing an action plan. So an action research in an action research, you will do an action plan. Okay, there is an action plan right after or a proposal of an action plan. Okay, and that's all the model of the action research. So we will now proceed to the research proposal format. Maybe all of you were asking like, what is the format of making action research? So I should say that you are so lucky tonight, because you are here, and I will be giving some tips for your research to be accepted in the basic education research fund. Okay, so the tips that I am giving here are based on my experiences, as as I have as I have experienced this through the different training and seminars conducted by Birth. Okay, so let's start with the first part, which is a title. Mind you, this is just a proposal. Okay, proposal part. So the proposal is the first phase of the action research. You cannot proceed to your actual action research without approved proposal. Okay, so let's get it on. So let's have the first part, which is the title. So in the title, no need to make a title like you are having a thesis or thesis. Okay, so just make it simple. Okay, make it simple. It must have the maximum number of 15 words in a title. So all acronyms must be spelled out, and it must contain the variables of the study. So in the title alone, if I am the reader of your action research or research, I can already say what is your study all about. It's specific, it's simple, and the variables are all in there in the title. Right, tips in making a title. So, of course, as I have mentioned a while ago, you need to read the related articles first and conceptualize the project before thinking or making a title. Okay, next is that think of a broader topic. This is very important. Think of a broader topic. Narrow it down by thinking of the subtopics. Okay, so that's another tip for you to make a title. Okay, the second part of the action research is the context and rationale. Now, in the context and rationale, it's state or you're going to state or give a reliable data that will support your problem. Of course, stating your problem in the context and rationale, of course, you're going to back up your problem with a reliable data to support your problem now. Other words, if you don't have any backup, you will end up like it is a hearsay or hearsays. Okay? So stated facts and data must be verified and validated. Example of um tips, okay? So in writing context and rationale, you must first prove that there is a problem and a need to conduct a study. Other than that, so your research will looks like, pale. Okay. Next is that you need to cite, this is the backup now, you need to cite or state at least three validated sources or data. So, of course, when you have that national achievement test, you have the field area or mean results. These are examples of the validated data. So, how are you going to use this? Okay. All right. So, say, for example, let's use the NAT, the National Achievement Test result. Say, for example, your problem is the low mastery of English subject. So you can use the result of NAT. Say, for example, based on the result of the national achievement last school year 2019-2020, grade 6 students obtained low mastery in their English subject, and then you provide the specific data or numbers. See, so you are now stating the problem backed up with the validated sources. So you're not just saying your own opinion, and that makes your context and rationale comprehensive and more valid. Fill area. Fill area, say for example, you are trying to conduct a study about non-readers. So you can use fill area as the backup validated source and also the mean. Okay? The third part of the action proposal is the proposed intervention and strategy. So this is your proposed intervention, and this is the intervention that you would like to propose out of your problem, because you think that this will fit to the needs of your participants. This will helps your participants to be more independent reader if that's your problem. Okay, so in the proposed intervention and strategy, you state your purpose, proposed interventions, backed up also with the different related literature that you have read. Okay? And you can cite prior programs that the interventions were utilized. Okay? Tips. In writing proposed intervention strategy, an original strategy or intervention is better in case an intervention was adopted from other studies. That's all right. Okay, it's okay. You will not be um you will not be penalized for that if you have just, you want to adopt, because as you read the result of the that study, so you find it very interesting, and you find it really interesting, and that would fit to your problem, and that's okay. But you need to take note, make sure to justify how you will apply and use it to your studies. So that's it, that's all. It's okay to adopt. Actually, it's adopt, because when we say adopt, like, you'll try to apply in your own way. Okay. And what makes it different to a copy or a copy paste? Copy paste is that you just grab that one and you put that, you copy paste. Okay. When you adopt, like, you get that one and you will try to apply that one in your own style. That's adopt or adopting. Okay. All right. The next part, fourth part, is the action research questions. So, okay, state at least 5 questions you wanted to find out after your study. All right, 5 questions. The ideal are only 5 questions. Okay. Okay, tips. Formulate a research question such as descriptive questions, inferentials, and of course the effects of the interventions. So, okay, so one tip again, another tip. Why are you going to get the profile of the respondents when it is not needed in your study? Okay, so because we use in that kind of setup, okay, of making a research that we used to start our question like, what is the profile of the respondent in terms of sex, I mean gender, educational attainment, like that and like so. But in that discussion, you did not include them because that portion has nothing to do with your research, and that's baseless, and that's not that's useless. Okay, so you try in making action research, you just formulate a questions that is needed and can be and answerable and see that can be answered. Okay, that can be answered by your study. Okay, so these are the ideals. So you need to have the descriptive questions, the inferential questions, and effects of the interventions. Descriptive, like it could be answerable by yes or no, or numbers like that. So say for example, what is the performance of grade 4 pupils before implementing the study? So descriptive, that is example of descriptive. Inferential is that is there a significance between the this and this? That's inferential. Okay? Effects of this intervention, of course, that's very easy. What is the impact of the study? What is the result of your study? That's effects of the intervention. And that's how you formulate the questions. Next part is the action research methods. So in the action research methods, you include there the number of the participants. I keep on mentioning participants because in action research, we do not say respondents. We say participants. Okay? Resources of the sources of data information, and also the data gathering methods and data analysis. So this is the methods now, the part. Okay, I have here some tips. In selecting participants of your study, make sure to state how the participants were selected. So you may use of the different sampling method. Okay, and sources data intervention must be verified or quality assured by the principal or master teacher or the research committee. Now let's have this number two. Sources data or the instrument or the intervention must be verified or quality assured by the principal. This is case-to-case basis. Okay? If you will use your own intervention, that's the time that you need to, before using it, you need to seek for a verifications or quality assurance by anyone that is superior. Okay, you can have them check and validate it, and after that, you need to have a pilot testing of your instrument, and I guess you are all familiar with that. And also about the ethical issues and standards. So it must be properly discussed to the participants of the study. Say for example, you must discuss what are the process of your study, what are the flow of your study, and if you need to pay them or if it's free, and you need to assure everyone that the result of your study will be used for the purpose of your study, and the confidentiality will be protected. Their confidential data will be protected in lieu with the I mean in accordance with the data privacy law. Okay, in analyzing data states, specifically the different statistical tool used, examples are, correlation statistics, descriptive statistics, t-test, and others. Okay, but I'd like to emphasize these are just examples. Okay, examples like correlation statistics, descriptive statistics, t-test, and others. There are of statistical tool that you can use, but it doesn't mean that you need to go on that very complicated one. Okay, if you will not, if you yourself cannot do it, okay, why would you choose that um statistical tool? Okay, what I'm trying to say now is that be somewhat like be realistic. Okay, if you can do descriptive, much better descriptive, because anybody can ask you anyone can ask you how you were able to come up with this study, but then you can answer them because you know the whole process. Okay. All right, that's a suggestion coming from me. All right, so next part is the action research work plan and timeline. So what is in there? So it could be like first the pre-implementation, the implementation proper, the post-implementation. So these are the three that that will appear to your work plan and timeline. So pre-implementations will put there the things that you do before the implementation of your research. What are the things like you orient your parents, you orient the participants, you orient the teachers, something like that. Next is the implementation proper. Now, what are the things that you do during the implementation proper of your study? You conduct you give you send Google Forms to the different schools like that. That's an example. Next is the post implementation. What did you do after your study? You interpret the data, you collect and collate the data like that. Okay. And also you have the cost estimates, funds, and resources. Now in here, you will state here all the expenses incurred in your studies. Okay. Take note, if you like it to be funded by birth, expenses. Now, BERF here stands for the Basic Education Research Fund. You are correct of hearing it. Okay, BERF. If you want your research to be funded by BERF, of course you have to undergo the series. Okay, of their selection process. Okay, expenses on the purchase of materials such as the printer, the camera, cell phones are not allowed. So you're not allowed to do that. Okay, what are the expenses that are only allowed? Of course, you have the food, you have the different materials such as ball pens, band paper, scissors, and everything. Okay, except of the things that I have mentioned here. Okay, but you have all the means. Okay, you have all the means to say, for example, you need like 50 reams of band paper. You can do that, provided that you need to itemize the price only. Okay. Next is the plans for dissemination and utilization. So how and when will you disseminate the result of your study? So it could be in a form of lab session, professional meeting, in the different research conferences, just like what I am doing right now. So that's the plans of dissemination. In your research proposal, you will include that one. Okay? Next, references. Of course, list down all your references in an APA format. All right, so that is all about the parts of an action research. I hope that you have take down notes of them, and because we will be moving on to the actual action research template. So, all right, so this is the thing. You submitted your action research proposal already, and that was approved. So that's the time now that you do the action research. So this is the template. First, of course, you have the cover page. The cover page contains the following: title of the study, of course, with a maximum of 15 words. So you include the name of the proponents and their designations if they are two or three or more, or designations if it's only one. The school, the school's division's office, and the date of submission. Now, in the acknowledgement, I'm so sorry I put a but, acknowledgement. So it contains all individuals that the researchers would or wanted to thank to. Now, note, use always the third person in writing your acknowledgement. That's that's the rule of writing acknowledgement. I guess you know it already. Okay, let's come now to the abstract. This is when you justify the difference between proposal and then the actual action research. This one will give you justification because actual action research have the abstract. And what is written in the abstract? So the entire text should include the following major aspects. Okay, you have there the objectives or objective, it's only one, methods, results and reflections, conclusions and recommendations. So the format for the abstract is 250 to 300 words only. It should be in an italic and single space. And you must provide at the bottom part of the abstract, which is 5 to 10 keywords based on your abstract. That's the format. Next is you have the introduction part, the most enjoyable thing in the actual research. So introduction is the most easiest thing to do in the action research. So in the introduction part, of course, you have the context and rationale. So this time in the proposal, okay, going back again, the proposal, when you do the context and rationale, you are more into the future tense, using the future tense sentences. But here in the context and rationale, so this sign, it will be in the past tense because you already done with your research. So in the context and rationale, this part discusses your topic or problem. Always again back up your statements with facts or study and use proper citations in citing the study or reference through APA format. Now, so I have also noticed, like, I have mentored again um teachers. Common feedback is that, can you please help me with my introduction? I don't know how to start my introduction. And this is the easiest way when in fact. So I will give you a hint on how to make an introduction that's very easy. So you try to imagine the pyramid, okay, like that, triangular in shape. You just need to invert it, okay? Inverted pyramid. So what do you see? Of course, you have the broader or the bigger portion up to the smaller portion. And that stands for your introduction. You'll start for the broader, okay? You start for the broader idea until such time that you make it specific down to your problem. And that's how you start and you end your introduction. Very easy. Next, propose interventions and innovations and strategy. So in this part, you will be presenting the process and how you will be starting or gathering your data and what are the necessary methods you applied and intervention you used. So here, all right, so let's compare to the proposal. So in the proposal, you just propose. Say, for example, I will propose that in my study, I will be using the peer teaching method because blah blah blah. So in the actual research, you will state now the peer teaching methods found to be effective because of this, of that. So that is more on discussing what are the results of the proposed interventions that you have used. Okay, so action research questions, of course, it should be five ideal. But what if I have six? It's up to you, but the ideal is five. Okay, so again, in formulating questions, always consider your problem or your research study. So, okay, so later we will discuss with that one. So chapter 2, participants and data sources. Discussion of the participants and data sources, data gathering procedures and instrument, how did you gather your data, and data analysis. Always choose or make a research study that utilize descriptive statistics. Okay, the simpler, the better. So let's um adopt that phrase, the simpler the better. So no need for you to make things complicated because action research is meant to be simple as it is. Okay. Next, chapter three. In the chapter three, this is now the results and the discussions. So you have to provide graphical presentations and explain the results of your study comprehensively. So you need to avoid slang or very uncommon words to avoid misinterpretations and confusions. So when comparing results, be specific and use statistical data and interpretations. Now, when you interpret and when you discuss, you make it like, say, for example, you didn't need to discuss, say for example you have five variables in that I mean you have five concept, like, yes, five. So in each concept you have the result or mean, so you no need to discuss all of them. Okay, you just need to discuss like the upper or the lower mean. Okay, just don't discuss everything because it would sounds like you are talking based on the I mean you are translating only the data on your table. So no need to discuss everything. You just get the upper or the lower or one and two. That's all. You can end up there. And also it would sound very comprehensive if you will back up the results with some of the study. Or I mean some of the related articles. So that would that would make your results and discussions more comprehensive. Okay, in the conclusion and recommendation part, always generalize the term, and I guess I was about to end. Always generalize the term and always refer to the study and present the summary and findings of your research study. So hint, show implications and reflections in making recommendations. And another thing, when you do a conclusions and recommendations, you try to reflect on your problem. Okay, you try to reflect on your research problem. Okay, and what this implies you to do. So it only means to say that if you have five research problems, therefore in your conclusions, okay, in your recommendations, there could be also five recommendations. Okay, do you get my point? Like, if it's only five problems, that it there should also be five recommendations. Okay, and you conclude out of your problem. Okay, and also next is the action plan. So you try to come up with an action plan based on the results of your research study. So make it attainable and easy to do. So observe the time frame. Of course, we do have a lot of time constraints as a teacher. So you try to you try to make an action plan which is achievable or attainable. Say for example, your action research will be good, and the implementation of your action research will be good for 6 months. That would be okay as long as you have to live with that. Okay, 6 months is 6 months. Actually, there are a lot of there are questions like what is the maximum number of months to conduct or to finish an action research. So it depends on the time frame, but based on my experience, the the maximum was like 1 school year, and the short implementation like 3 months or 6 months, like that. So that's it. And of course, you need to observe observe the time frame. So you need to follow, say for example, in your action plan, say for example, June to July is your pre-implementation. You need to follow that one because um each month the division will contact you for any update of your research and they will ask you for documentation of that. So you need to follow and you need to stick on your action plan in your time frame. Okay, so better you need to consider carefully the time and the flow of your research. Say, for example, if it's like you will not do it like in a span of 5 to 6 months, then better do it in a school year, one school year, for you to be safe. Okay, because one thing when you try to when you are planning for your action research to be funded by the Bureau of, I mean, Basic Education Research Fund. Okay, so you need to carefully observe that time frame. Okay, or else because there is a certain fund that will be given to you. So what will happen if you will not follow the time frame? Is that you need to give back the fund that they have given you. Okay, in a form, of course, in a form of monetary. Okay, and of course, lastly, for my presentation, so lastly, we still have the references. Okay, so references. Okay, so you need to cite properly all the authors and books or studies that you have read and used APA format. So of course, there are also some that they are not yet familiar with the APA format. So you may try to use the YouTube, okay, search on how to follow the APA format, and then they will give you different videos about that. Okay, and of course that's all for my presentation for today, and I hope that it helped you a lot. And as it gave you that courage and that energy to do or to try to venture the action research. Now if you have time, this is my FB group, and you can search for this one. I am the admin of this one. Okay, and of course, that's all for your coaching and mentoring concern. Please, you may contact, try to screenshot this one, 5432 5432. All right. So that will be all. Thank you. And what a fruitful evening to each and everyone. Thank you so much.
That was actually really amazing. So, Ricky, I should say that you discussed about action research comprehensively. I have a lot of things here. First, you discussed about the theme in making action research, then the advantages of doing the action research. Also, you discussed about the things to consider in doing action research, and also the action research agenda, the process and the flow of action research, the model of action research, and the proposal format, and also the template. That was really fascinating. Your presentation and your discussion is truly amazing. Thank you so much for your time. And then what else? My I think my takeaway for today is that the simpler the better in making action research. Is it
Exactly,
so?
exactly. Yes, yes, Mambet. So the simpler, the better. So why you have to make it complicated when you can make it simple, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's true. But I don't know if I should agree with you. You also discussed that making the introduction, you said that making introduction is easy and interesting, but I find it hard in my in doing the introduction in making action research. Why is that so? I don't know.
Actually, you are
Uh,
not alone with that, Ma'am Beth. Actually, I mean, most of my clients are, that is one of their claimer, like how to make an introduction. But, I try to advise them that you try to think of the inverted pyramid, and that's the pattern. That's all. That's the pattern.
okay, thank you again, Sir Ricky, and I will call you back again here in our Q&A part. Thank you so much. Let me remind the audience, you may also don't forget to like, share, and write a comment and tag your friends in the comment box. Thank you so much, Sir Ricky. Okay. Okay, please join our quiz competition at slido.com and our code is IGP quiz. Okay, I could already see lots of participants here. We have 87 participants as of this time. Okay, please come on, guys, join the quiz competition at slido.com. Okay, and I think that our quiz will be very easy if you listen attentively to our speaker for tonight. I could read some familiar names here. Hello to all our participants. Good luck to everyone. Okay, you can still go to slido.com. Come on, guys, this will be fun. From there, our code is IGP quiz. So this time we have already 152 participants. This is a great number. Okay, let's see. You can still join. Get ready now. We'll be starting any moment. But to those who still want to join, you can still go to slido.com and our code is IGP quiz. Or you may just click the link below in our comment box. Now we have already 173 participants. Okay, our first question for tonight. A stage of action research that refers to sharing and communicating the results. Is it reflective stage or developing stage? Let's see what is the correct answer. And the correct answer is collecting stage. 73% of our participants get the correct answer. Congratulations to all of you. Let's move on to our question number 2. Okay. A stage of action research refers to implementing the plan and collecting data. What stage is this? Acting stage or development stage? The stage where we implement the plan and collecting data. And the correct answer is acting stage. Romel Jan Aquino is leading our board. Let's proceed to question number 3. What is the maximum number of words needed in forming the title of your action research? Is it 10 or 15? The correct answer is 15, and 78% of the participants answered correctly. It's Marvick who's leading the board this time. In writing context and rationale, it is important to A. Discuss your idea and perception of the problem, or B. Cite or state at least 3 validated source or data. The correct answer is cite or state at least 3 validated sources or data. Only 47% of the participants got the correct answer. Well, it's not bad. Marvick is leading the board again. Let's see for the next question. Okay, question number 5. You will state here all the expenses incurred in your studies. A. Cost estimates, funds and resources, or B. Conclusion. And the correct answer is cost estimates, funds and resources. 98% of the participants got the correct answer. Congratulations! Okay, question number 6. What is a sample of validated data can be used in conducting action research? A. Standardized reading test. B. A result of daily quizzes. Which one do you think is the correct answer? Well, it's a standardized reading test. And 77% of the participants got the correct answer. Richard Ardenio is leading the board this time. Okay, question number 7. In this part, you can cite prior programs that the interventions blank were utilized, propose intervention strategy. In this part, you can cite prior programs that the intervention blank were utilized or proposed intervention strategy. The correct answer this time is proposed intervention strategy. 87% of the participants got the correct answer. Richard Ardenas is still leading the board. What to do if, in case, the intervention used in action research is adopted from other study? A. Provide result and analysis. B. Justify how you will apply and use it in your studies. Which one do you think is the correct answer? Justify how you will apply and use it to your studies. 67% of our participants got the correct answer. Okay, question number 9. What is the ideal number of research question? Is it 7 or 5? The correct answer this time is 5. That is the ideal number of research question. Okay, for our last question. What is the standard or accepted format in citing references used or adapted? Is it CPA or APA? What's the style? Is the standard or acceptable format in citing reference? Is it CPA or APA? APA is the correct answer. And that is our last question for today. Congratulations to all our top 10 participants. You'll be receiving your quiz completion certificate in a while. Okay, here are the top 10 participants. Can we make it a little bigger? First, we have Naciel Araujo. Second, we have Maria Veneranda Z. Campos. Number 3, Edeline Campit Serrano. Number 4, Lisel Gabalton. Number 5 is Richard Ardenia. Number 6 is Nahung Lat Hatun. Number 7, Ranil Naranja. I hope I pronounce your name correctly. Ranil Naranja is number 7, and number 8 is Angelito Kagakil. Number 9 is Edita Ballesteros. And the last one, can I see the name? Lamberto S. Pilatan Jr. is our top 10 participant. Those are our top 10 participants for tonight. Congratulations to all of you. Okay, congratulations to all our top 10 participants. This time we will proceed to our quiz, to our Q&A part of the program. All the participants will receive their quiz completion certificates. Again, I would like to congratulate all our top 10 participants. And then just wait for a while because we will be giving you your quiz completion certificates. This time, let's proceed to our Q&A part of the program. For your questions, kindly send your questions in our comment box. And then Welcome back, Sir Ricky. We are now in our Q&A part. Are you ready to answer the questions of our audience?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we have our first question from Peruz Akbarov. As always, what is the difference between research and action research, and which is more influential in education?
Okay. Actually, if you have just heard a while ago, I have mentioned that most of the educators or teachers they are confused of whether they are doing is an action research or a basic research. Okay, so you were asking like what is the difference between a research and an action research? Okay, so research is more complicated, should I say, or it discusses more on um, detailed statistical tool, okay, and it has a maximum number of participants, while in an action research, as I have said, you can do an action research with only one participant, and you can have it like a case study, and you could have it like descriptive research. An action research also is a purely problem-based solution wherein you encounter a problem and you wanted to offer an interventions or a solution to a problem. You can make a really quick action research, but in a research way, it will take you months before you can make it, considering the number of the participants, considering the data analysis, and considering also the ethical standards. But when it comes to being influential to the education or in educations, both of them are influential in a sense that both of them can empower system change. They can offer alternative solutions. They are evidence-based instruction, and also they can contribute meaningfully to the educational system. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful answer, Sir Ricky. I wonder what is the difference between action research and case study?
Oh, case study is somewhat like you have that isolated case wherein you need to prove the existence of the problem or case. While in action research, um, you need to in same way with the action research, you need to study the problem, and in the latter part you have to give intervention. That is why a case study can also be an action research.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And then we have our next question. Okay, our next question is from Jude Priel Ayala.
Okay.
What are your tips for researchers who are having hard time on selecting appropriate statistical tool to interpret their data, specifically for finding significance difference and significant correlation?
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. So actually, it should start with in the very first place that you have conducted the research. Okay, as a researcher, you should foresee what will happen in the future. So if I were the researcher, I would choose, or I would create a title or a problem that would be simple. Simple like it could be solved through a descriptive. Okay, because descriptive statistics is the very easy and accessible statistic for all. Okay, so if you find it really hard, I think I think you have set the difficulty, the level of difficulties of your research on the first step. So you try to examine the first step. If you can do, if you can make it simple in such a way that you will be dealing with simple data, and try to you can do that. But if you have already started your research, and then what um what made you somewhat like stuck up is that you don't know what specific statistical tool to use. I suggest that you make use of the different you have the different applications for statistics. You can download it through your phone, of course, wherein you can just input the data and then automatically they will interpret your data. So that's my suggestion.
Okay, thank you for that suggestion. And those are very useful nowadays.
Yes.
Okay, let's see if we have another question. Okay, we have here Crystalline Lalik Kutingko. Okay, what is the difference between research and action research? I think that's almost the same with the question
Yeah.
number one. Yeah, would you like to add more about that? Or
Mm, okay. All right. This one. Okay. So this is the very simple, right? Okay. So if you want to answer or solve the problem, and then after solving the problem, you'd like to offer a intervention that is an action research. Okay. You have the problem, and after that problem, when you solve the problem, you have the intervention. That is an action research. Okay? But if you'll just try to solve the problem and leave the answer, okay, leave the answer there, and that is just a research, basic research. Okay? You just answer the problem and you no need to offer an intervention. That's a action basic research. That's the one difference between basic research and action research.
okay, our next question is almost the same. Differentiate research to action research and which is more applicable?
Okay, I will answer the last
Second,
one, which
yeah.
is more applicable. More applicable in what way? Because more applicable in the promotion. You mean? Oh, any of which can be used in a promotion. If you are talking with promotions, more applicable in a classroom. Okay, I suggest you start doing an action research. More applicable in a beginner. So I suggest you start with an action research. So if you have that more applicable in persons, okay, or persons that have the luxury of time, I suggest you do the basic research because it will take a lot of time for you to do it. So that's it.
Okay, let's see if we have our next question. Do we have our next question?
Mhm.
Our next question is from Dolin Nessa Galion. Can you cite an example of action research that is descriptive?
Mhm. So descriptive action research are research that you often used instruments such as the Likert scale. Okay, so wherein you have the descriptive value. Say for example, slow. I mean, high. I mean, very high, high, moderate, very low. That is descriptive. So descriptive when you deal with simpler data. Say for example, one variable or two variables. You can have it like descriptive statistics. That's it.
Okay, that's good, Sir Ricky. And then, do we have more questions? From our next question is from Princess Joy
Mhm.
Bustillo. Sir, can you give us some interesting topic about pre-service teaching or pre-service teachers in conducting action research?
So pre-service meaning you are not
Yep.
yet
Yes, they
teacher
are not yet
teaching.
teaching. teaching.
You're not in teaching. Okay. Pre-service conduct. Actually, you need to consider the format because it depends on the format of the school where you are studying. Okay. I guess right now, the common problem, or the interesting topic about research, is the different learning modalities that being implemented in our country. So I think you need to weigh in whether what is the most effective modality, so that with the result of your study you can suggest. Okay, you can write suggestions on how the specific modality being implemented in a particular division per school can be improved, or can be more appropriate to the students. So that's it. You try to focus on the modality because it is the most somewhat like common problems nowadays, because we are in the stage of adjusting. So that's the only thing that I can advise to.
Okay, that's good. And also the modality is the
Mhm.
most relevant issue that we are
Yeah,
facing
relevant.
nowadays. Yeah,
Yes.
it's very relevant. Okay, from Lilette Casindad. A classroom teacher pa ba pwede po ba pwede mag-conduct ng action research outside? I mean, hindi, I mean po, hindi online, inline sa duty ng teacher. Can a classroom teacher
Mm,
conduct an action research
mhm.
outside that is not in line with the duty of a teacher?
Have a teacher. Actually, you have to consider it depends. It depends on you, di ba? You need to consider also the themes, the different themes. So I think I guess if that will satisfy in any of the themes that provided by the Department of Education, it's okay, and it could be useful, because the 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 thing here is that you are doing action research to contribute to the educational system. But if the purpose of your action research is actually, it could be like a project. It could be project. If you are trying to point out here, is it's not related, it's community related, you can have it as a project. You know what, project also can be an action research. That's the proper, I mean, that's the most comprehensive explanation. You cannot call it as an action research, but you can have it project. So out of the result of your project, you can make an action research of that. That's it.
Okay, and then we have our next question from Merceline Briones. Aside from action research, is there any other type of research in which suits for educational researches?
Okay. So aside from action research, yeah, of course. So you could try to explore basic research. It's different from action research, of course. You could have innovations. Okay. You could have projects. You could have the continuous improvement plan, the CIP, if you are working with the Department of Education. That's all.
So those are the things. Okay, from Michael Kevin Menard Garcia, but research also have expected outcome. Does it have expected outcome?
Oh, I guess you are trying to say here that the research also has expected outcome. Yes, research has expected outcome, but we are talking here about the intervention. Okay, after the result of your study, an action research offers a solution plus an intervention. Okay, so there is a proposal of intervention, while in the research, basic research, you start to study a specific theory, and then you go with the broader perspective. Okay, I'm not saying that the research has no outcome. Yes, there is an outcome, because the result itself can stand, or the result itself is an outcome of a research. However, It is different in an action research because when we talk about action research, there is a an intervention. Okay, an intervention that is based on the result of your action research. Okay, I hope it made clear.
Okay, thank you, sir, for that question. From Blandy S. Panelo, how can you help one to identify a problem and be able to find a good topic for action research? For beginners, this would be very helpful tip.
Mm, okay. All right. So, how can you help? All right. So, let's try. Let's start first with our. I mean, within our reach. Okay. If you are a teacher, so you start with your classroom. Of course, there are a lot of problems. So you consider your problem, your interest in that problem. Do not just pick all problems, as what I've said a while ago. You try to limit your problem. Say, for example, um you wanted to address the problem of your non-readers. So that could be a problem for action research. So you try to explore the problem and try to think of a program. That's it. Start within your reach first before you go. I mean, wider coverage. You try first within your reach so that you will not be shocked of the you will not experience the aftershock. You will not be culture shock with the research. Start with the very basic. I told you tell you, mom, that you know um action research doesn't need to be more complicated. Okay, is you try the basic one. Okay, that's all.
Okay, very nice answer. For now, we have from Lori Vib Pitogo. Is research can be an action research? If yes, in what way?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So yes, of course, research can be an action research. Say, for example, in a way that um your problem. Okay, I will give you a specific problem for those who are searching for a problem. For research. So say, for example, your problem is the incompleteness of the submission of the output of your students. So you would like to identify what are the factors that hinders them. What are the factors that hinder them to submit complete outputs to you. And then you conduct a research. That's a research. You find out. Okay. After the study, you find out that the environment, the internet connection, the what else? The the capability of their home learning partners. Those are the result. I mean, those are the result of your research study. So now you are going now to make it, or you are planning to make it as an action research. So in an action research, you are now going to make an intervention based of your results. So you identify that these are the factor, then you make an intervention for that factor. And that now becomes your action research. You've answered the problem already. That's
Okay,
it.
thank you so much, Sir Ricky. To all the participants who actively participated in our Q&A part, thank you so much for all your questions. And to our speaker for today, thank you so much, Sir Ricky, for your marvelous responses and comprehensive answers for the queries of our audience. I am sure that all are satisfied with the answers that you have given. Once again, thank you so much, Sir Ricky, and we hope to see you soon again here in IGP. Okay. Thank you, sir. So we're done with our 246 webinar, that is Educational Action Research with Sir Ricky Montano. Please take note of this, dear audience, dear learners. We saw that this at this moment you have difficulties in using the website. We notice that all the things and working. We notice all the things and We are working on it, which is not our problem, but still, our technician team are working on it. Thanks for your patience. For the certificate, please collect the certification. Collect the certification link and certification code at this moment, and then try it in your free time. We saw that it occurs when lots of our users wants to join in our website. This is a temporary problem with our hosting provider. Again, thanks for your patience. Just collect it and try to collect your e-certificate in your free time. But as of the moment, I think because of the bulk of participants who are accessing our website right now, we're having that traffic with a certification, with the downloading of the certificate. So sorry for that. For our certificate, this is what we've been waiting for. Our code for tonight is IGP 2527. That is, our topic is Educational Action Research. Our code for tonight is IGP 2527. You can take a screenshot of it or jot it down in your notebook. So, I would like to remind, without a code, no one is eligible for certificates. With code, you can claim your certificate anytime. Without an account in our website, you can visit, but you cannot do anything functionally. Keep that in mind. So you have to create your own account in our website. So take note of our code. That is IGP in all caps 2527. Do we have our next slide? Are you done with that? Are you done taking a screenshot of our code for tonight? That is IGP 2527. And our date for today is November 9. Today's program name, Educational Action Research. Do we have more announcement for tonight? Let's wait for a while. Okay, let's see. I think we do not have more. I don't think we have some more announcement for tonight. But I think that concludes our program for tonight or for today. To all my fellow knowledge seekers, I would like to thank all of you for attending today's session. Hopefully, you have learned something new today and you will use it in your life. If you learned something or we have been helpful to you, even just in a little bit, please leave a review on our page. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe in our Facebook group, Facebook page, and YouTube channel. Don't forget to collect your e-certificate and give a check-in with IGP. Please spread the information about IGP to your friends. We hope to see you all again in our next webinar, that is tomorrow. Thank you so much. Stay happy and stay safe. Again, this has been your host, Marbet from the Philippines, signing off. Thank you and God bless you all. Bye.